We have different types of resources for different needs. I talked about natural gas. You can see here the colored bars represent each season within MISO. And MISO evaluates utilities' ability to meet reliability requirements by season: winter, spring, summer, and fall. And this is new, and I'll talk about this very briefly here coming up. But you can see how the different resources are accredited or given credit for the capacity they provide differently in each season. What you'll notice is that gas is very firm, right? In every season, winter, spring, summer, fall, we can receive a high amount of capacity accreditation, and it doesn't change much. In fact, we get even more capacity from these resources in the winter because these units run more efficiently when the air is cold. The air is more dense, we get better power production out of the units. For wind produces better in the winter, so we get more capacity accreditation from those resources in the winter. Hydro, we have a diversity exchange contract, so it's kind of funny, but we have to send 200 megawatts out in the winter. We get that capacity back in the summer and the fall, so that's a benefit to us on a seasonal basis. That's an exchange contract with Manitoba Hydro. We also have a number of contract purchases that provide firm capacity year-round, as well as our Rainbow contract. The Rainbow contract came about when we sold Coal Creek Station to Rainbow Energy. As part of that agreement, we asked and signed an agreement with Rainbow that we would get capacity and energy off of that unit for a period of 10 years after the sale. And that steps down over time. For the first year, we took basically the full amount of the station in terms of capacity and energy. Then it stepped down to 550 megawatts. Then it's going to step down to 350 megawatts in the next year or two, and that will remain at that level until 2031. That's a great thing for us and for our members because it provides two things. It provides a fixed price energy hedge to the market because we're paying a flat fixed price on that contract, and it provides us with capacity that allows us to transition away from these coal resources, Stanton and and Coal Creek Station. While we bring in new resources to our portfolio, we let technology develop that will allow for more cost-effective transition away from those resources. We've put ourselves in a really good position in terms of the transition that we're making, the decisions that GRE has made in the last 5 years associated with our energy transition, the acquisitions of renewable energy, and how we've dealt with our existing fossil fuel technologies. Those decisions that we made, that our board and our membership made in the last 5 years, those are decisions that are currently facing other utilities in the state and the region today, right? And those decisions get harder and harder and harder as time goes on. So the early action that we took are really paying off and benefiting our membership today. Our capacity resources, this is a snapshot of spring, summer, fall, and winter. We plan by planning year. So in MISO tells the utilities that are members of MISO, each year you shall have this much capacity. You need to carry this much capacity, and if you don't, you need to pay to get that capacity from what's called the clearing auction in MISO. So every year, utilities submit all their resources into MISO, and MISO evaluates what types of resources there are, what accreditation they have, and how they contribute to what's called a planning reserve margin, which is the level required to ensure reliable service in MISO. In a timely fashion, MISO just came out with the results from the planning reserve auction for this year this morning and yesterday. And what we see is very different from last year. Last year, you may recall that there was a tight capacity situation that increased the cost of capacity and indicated that there was some shortfall in MISO. This year is very much the opposite of that. In all 4 seasons, MISO sees a surplus of resources, and the capacity prices that we see in this planning year are extraordinarily low compared to where they have been. So that's a good thing, right? That's economics at work. We got a pretty hefty price signal last year, and MISO has responded, and the members of MISO have responded with more resources this year.